What is up, winning team? I wanted to share a story with you guys. This is a winning team exclusive because I had to share this with you guys. Yes, it's like 1 a.m. I'm really tired. So if I come across really tired, that's probably why, because I'm just exhausted. But anyway, I just was out having my nighttime time. That's why it's late and whatever. And I thought I would share this story with you all because this is kind of insane. So this is about to be the story of my life, situation, types of situations that happen. I'm really too tired for this, but I've got to share this now because I was just thinking about it. So, and this is going to go back to my whole thing about men and women and our dynamics and how I don't think we understand each other enough. So, I'm going to tell you guys about this story, and I can't believe I'm doing this in this state. The version of me that existed when this situation happened is not the version of me that exists now. And hence why I'm saying, like, how would I decide on I'm so tired or whatever? I'm going to come on here and tell you guys anyway. So here's what happened. This is a story I want to tell, so that this is actually story is more for the male community, because I want you guys to understand something, that sometimes us women choosing you, it has a number of costs to it, which brings me to this situation I found myself in. So I'll tell you guys this: 90% of the time, when a dude approaches me or is interested in me to any degree, I'm unaware, because I'm not assuming they're going to be interested. I'm assuming they're not going to be interested in me. So I talk to them as if like I would talk to them like I just don't try anything. I'm just my natural self, because I'm assuming this isn't going anywhere. Yep. So some years ago, as in like a significant amount of years ago, I was in this dance group, and I've told you guys about how I've been in different dance groups and whatever. And in this particular one, I was quite surprised to even be involved. This story is insane. And I was like so happy to be there, because as far as all the dancers there, I'm like at the bottom level. I'm like the least. I'm not a good dancer, you guys. I'm not a good dancer. I'm not. Like, I grew up watching dancers, and I've always watched dancing even till now. And there are so many incredible dancers. Like, so this situation kind of took me aback, because it comes to do with a guy who was far better at dancing than me. So I'm in a situation where, this is a story time. I'm in a situation where, and sorry, like I said, I've just been out and I just started to think about this and think, you know what, I understand why I have some of the problems I have more now in hindsight. So I'm talking to this guy. Well, actually I'm not. That's the thing about it. So I'm in this dance group, and in my mind, he's like, this guy, he dances like a Chris Brown type of character. He's like a very Chris Brown, very good at what he does. And in my opinion, he carried our group like 80%, because he was so good. So like the way I'm looking at it is like, at the time, like even now, he's like the best we have, and I'm like the worst we have, which I love to be. And I've told you guys this, it gives me an opportunity to like grow, because I love being around people that I think are way better than me, because then I get to grow. And like as a winner, you want to be around people like that, because you want them to inspire you to do better. So that's where my focus was. Anyway, so this guy, I'm going to try my best not to say too much to the point where I won't actually upload this, which I probably still won't, but maybe I will. This guy, right, he's like the reason we're able to do this. He had access to a studio in one of the best places in London. He is one of the best dancers I've ever known in my life. Like, just naturally born incredible dancer. And so, in my opinion, he was really carrying the way, and I was trying to keep up with everybody. He's at like the top end, and I'm at the bottom end. Having said that, so there was two girls there, other than myself. There was more girls than that, but these are the two girls in the story that I'm about to tell, which is insane. And so the two girls, one of them I was already close with. The other one, she knew him for a long time before I knew either of them, right? So I walk into the situation, I'm like 19, and I'm just here to I'm here to train. I'm focused on training because I want to get better. I'm trying to make something for myself, you know what I mean? Because I've not grown up. My family could never afford it, and I couldn't afford on my pathetic little salaries in the jobs that I had to train the way other dancers were training. So I was really excited to be part of this group that I got invited to by a different guy. And we were all training together, and it was all because this one other guy had the studios, and like I said, he dances like Chris Brown. And I say that because growing up, a lot of times people would have always like said to me, "Oh, you must love Chris Brown because you like him, like as a guy, you want to be with him, you want to sleep with him." Don't get me wrong, I want to go to a Chris Brown concert. In fact, let's put it like this, to put this all into perspective. When I had goals as a dancer, I have goals as different types of titles. My number 1, 2 goals were to A, dance with Michael Jackson, and B, dance with Chris Brown, and not to be there and like be having sex with them and all of this. And yes, this is exactly where this story is going. So I see this guy, and he did get booked after Michael Jackson died, with the time when I knew him, to dance for the Michael Jackson Thriller tour they were doing with like whatever after the fact, years later, because he's an incredible dancer. So anyway, he's very Chris Brown style, so he's not my cup of tea. And also, like I said, I was there specifically because I need to grow. There's all these incredible dancers I get to be with. I want to learn from them, and I'm the bottom. And I'm not saying that in a way to be like, I'm trying to be so humble. No, I really was, like, objectively, because I grew up watching dancers and dancing. If I thought I was that good of a dancer, guys, I would just go straight into dance right now, because I don't even know what the hell I'm supposed to be doing. But that's a conversation for another day, because me and the Lord have been talking about that as well. Anyway, so I'm watching this guy, and we're in the studio. I'm focused on the routines. But then when I'm off with the girlies, there was a girl who knew him for like the last 2 years. And there was a girl who I was quite close with. And both of them were like head over heels for this guy. Now, this is about to be a story of my life, what I'm about to tell you. So he was like, he was like leading us massively, because he would come with choreography. He was a great freestyler. He was the one who had the studio. He was the one who was teaching. So I think for him, in a way, it was good. It was fun to have like people that were not people that he could just be more creative with. And in my mind, I was so grateful to be in the presence of such greatness and just to learn. These two girls, one of them who'd known him for a long time, she was all like, "Oh, like he kissed me like once 2 years ago, and I really want to be with him, etc." Which I didn't want to be with him. I didn't have any type of like wanting to be with him. And this is the kind of thing, this is the exact situation I find myself in every single time, by the way. So she wants to be with him, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, I'm not that bothered. Not even that I'm not that bothered. He's not my cup of tea. And also, I'm here to dance because I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to grow. Because of everybody here, I am the least qualified. So of these two girls, one of them, the one who kissed him 2 years ago, she's an incredible singer. Like, potentially, even if I trained my voice for the rest of my life, still would outdo me vocally. She's also stunningly beautiful. The other girl, we're close. She's got qualifications and stuff to like teach dance, musical theatre, whatever. So I'm like the least qualified. I'm the least. So we're all dancing together, right? And then he decides also to be on my team, which I never thought was possible, because we danced on our own team. And then we danced, and then he also danced on my team, which always threw me off because I'm like, you're way better than me. So why are you even standing and doing my choreography on stage for all these performances? I just never to this day can understand why he would choose to do that. So I'm just grateful anyway. We do all these performances. Part of one of my first performances I ever did, like as a choreographer, he choreographed part of it. And it was all just dance related. Like you guys are gonna see these are the reasons why I had to walk away from the industry. So I'm here doing this, and these girls, so one of them, and like there was a few times with one of the girls, the one who'd known him for ages, who'd kissed him like 2 years ago, she would cry like, I love him so much, I want to be with him. And in my head I'm thinking, you should spread your wings and fly. Like you should go and find somebody who cares about you. Again, I'm not thinking about this guy and as far as myself, but you guys can see where the story is going. I'm thinking, you're so beautiful, you're so talented, like just go out there and just spread your wings. Like if I was as beautiful and talented as her, that's what I would do. Anyway, and then the other girl, she and her, they started to really bond over the fact they both liked him, which I didn't really care. However, a few people in a few situations start to say things about me and him, and it's only because we had the same music's interests. So like he would play songs, like because sometimes we would train like actual songs that we were going to perform as a group, and then sometimes we would just freestyle and different people would have the like different people choose the songs. And so I would always know the songs he was playing, whether they were like really popular or not, and a lot of them were Chris Brown songs, which is what kind of makes it ironic. So anyway, fast forward, one day I'm in the dance studio, right? It's one of my sessions, I'm teaching, and we finished. Everybody's leaving. I'm taking my time because obviously I've got to wrap up everything. I've got to make sure put the studio back into space, whatever. And he kind of lingered at the end. And then me and him are just talking, and I'm not thinking anything of it. Like, and this is my key thing with my experiences with guys. This is why I feel like I'm kind of screwed in life, because 9 times out of 10, I have an interaction with a guy who's interested in me in any kind of way. I'm not thinking they would ever be interested, because why would he ever want to talk to me? I'm the worst of all the dancers here. Like he's teaching things, I'm the one asking him 100 times, like, sorry, how do we do this? Like, was this? I'm the one, like, and I've rewatched the footage, because I have the footage. I have screenshots of everything, by the way, to see and I've looked back as an adult and been like, yeah, I was the weakest link in the group. And I like being the weakest link as far as growing, but it's also humbling because it's like, whoa, these guys are way better than me. And I'm so glad that I get to be here and that like no one's kicking me out. And then why the hell is this guy dancing my choreography as well? So anyway, one of the days when I was teaching, he kind of lingered at the end, but I thought it was the usual. Like at the end of a dance studio, some people would leave immediately. They got somewhere to go. Some people stretch for the next half hour because obviously your body's really warm, and it's best to stretch when you're warm. Like when I was in a professional dance company, that's what I loved. We would do these long sessions. At the end, your like entire body would be wet with sweat because you've worked so hard and it's been so difficult. And then when you would stretch, it was like you could fold your body into like a pretzel. So I got it. Like, and I never tried to rush anybody out of the studio. So anyways, one day he's there and he's just starts talking to me, and we're just having a conversation. Obviously we had each other's contact details already because we're all on multiple teams together, and he was a couple of years older than me and whatever. Anyway, little did I know. So in the midst of this, after that day where he came to talk to me, which I can't remember the exact details because again, I'm not thinking anything of it. These girls want you, I don't. And also I'm doing the girly thing of like, well, I feel like it's girl code and it's guy code that if your friend like is interested in somebody, then you're never going to be interested in them. I wasn't interested in him, but the fact that I knew these two girls, because I'd be with them and they'd be like talking about him as if he was like the next Messiah, and I was just like, I just don't get it. But also, that's the greatest sign to me that he's for you. Like, I won't take him, go and have him. I can't believe I'm coming on the internet at this time of night looking like this, talking about this, because it's going to make me sound like such it's going to be like, how did this happen? Because why would he talk to you? But anyway, So yeah, he's talking to me, and this is the first time we've been alone, and it was so weird. And there's something I've noticed about men in general, that the second they get you alone, sex on my mind, thinking about when I got you alone. Do you guys remember that song? So as soon as they get you alone, then that's when, and I knew that from secondary school, because again, I have screenshots of these times these guys would say this stuff to me outside of school. We're here talking on like whatever, I'm talking to them like they're my friends, and they're saying these wild things, and I'm like, to this day I have all these screenshots. That's why no one can ever tell me that I'm lying. And the only reason I don't post them or share them or go on TikTok and do a 20-part series of the receipts is because I'm not that kind of person. I'm not that kind of woman. Anyway, so he's like talking to me, and his whole demeanor had changed as well, because normally he's just like the one who's, and this has happened to me many times, by the way. This is the exact situation I'm about to tell you about. And this is why I ran from the industry with all my heart, like, because I was just like, this is insane. This isn't an Epstein. This isn't a Diddy. This isn't a somebody trying to take advantage of you type of thing. And so, yeah, so he's talking to me, and he's saying a few things that didn't really register to me as exactly what he was trying to say. Whatever. He then texts me later on. And he starts saying all this stuff about, things he wanted to do to me. And I'm thinking, these are the situations. This is why I wanted to bring this to you guys. These are the situations where I've realized as a woman, choosing a man a lot of times means forfeiting your relationships with other women, because I wasn't trying to get with this guy. Like, I was literally so focused. It was my dream. In my head, I was thinking of myself, who could barely afford. I was paying for one dance class a week. I was paying for the gym, my pathetic salary at McDonald's, making £3 something per hour. I was trying to do anything to set myself up for success when I eventually moved to London. And I was like, I want to throw myself into everything. Like, any opportunity that I have, I was focused on that. And he's not my cup of tea as a guy, as you guys will know. I'm not into the Chris Brown type, but again, I've always listened to Chris Brown, and I've always respected his music, and I love his music, because I'm like, he does speak like in a way that he's like a man who's actually dealt with women, and that's why women find him attractive. And a lot of guys will try to like be like they experience with women, but you can tell they're not. And I could tell that before I had any experience with men, really, although I kind of did because of school, where you'd have these guys texting me talking about a whole bunch of things. I love you, this, and then I'd see them at school the next day, and I would just never say anything. And it'd be all the guys of the same friendship group as well. Like, all of them in the same friendship group would all be shooting their shot. And I just didn't say anything because I'm not that kind of person. But I did notice that. And it did. And that's why I was always taking screenshots, or at the time, screen munches, because I was like, if they ever tried to accuse me of something I didn't do, which did actually happen, like when my brother went to the same school I went to, my next brother, who's going to be 26 this year, but he's 25 right now, he was like, this guy told me that you did this with him, and this guy told you. And I was like to him, I've never kissed a single guy at that school, never. Like, when I was in secondary school, I didn't even kiss one of them. You know what I mean? But he's heard all these stories of, I did this with so-and-so, and like, it's the horror of it all. Anyway, so these girls are all down bad. I'm thinking, I hope he picks one of you guys. I don't know why he doesn't. You guys are lovely girls. And then he starts sending me these messages, right? I'm not going to say what the messages said. But anyways, he's now making a move, basically. And I'm thinking, dude, you are literally carrying all of us on your shoulders. Like, you're doing 80% of the work, at least, in comparison to the rest of us. And there was a whole group of us. I'm the weakest link. As in, I'm expecting if this guy's texting me, he's going to be like, hey, I really appreciate how you're trying. This is just not going to work. It was like the exact opposite of that, pretty much. And so he's all like, well, I saw this, and it got crazy, guys. Because we would then go, like, after this, we would then all end up in the studio again. And this is where I'm like, men always put me in the position with other women where I'm like, I just don't know what to do now, because let's say I was interested in him, I'm immediately forfeiting all my relationships with my closest friends. And let's say I choose him, it's like there's a huge risk, you know? It's a huge risk that actually bit me in the butt later in life. Different guy, not him, the guy I used to be in a relationship with, because I've never really expressed this, but the biggest thing that became a problem is honestly my ex-housemates. They loved me more than I loved myself, and they were not in favor of certain details I told them about the relationship I was with, and they were right. But I didn't see that, and also because I'm used to these kinds of situations, and ironically, they're also the only two people I've ever told this story. I'm telling you guys now, although I told them in way more detail about what happened. So I'm in a position now where I've got one girl who I barely know, who's like literally crying because she's like been in love with this guy. She's so talented, she's so gorgeous, but she's in love with this dude. This other girl likes him. They've bonded over it. I'm really close to the other girl. Everybody's better than me at everything. Everybody in the room, right? Guys or girls. And this guy, and it got to the point where one of the sessions we all had together, and this is why I started to think about it, because I was thinking about Chris Brown. Him and another guy have made this choreography to this song by Chris Brown, Back to Sleep. You guys should listen to that song. Well, you shouldn't, actually. It's like, just let me ride. Hold on tight to me, girl. Fuck you back to sleep, girl. That's how the song goes, right? And it's a really good song. I know it's late, but baby, I can't focus. It's so good. You have to listen to Chris Brown singing. Obviously, I'm a woman singing it. I'm just singing it out in the middle of my tiredness at like probably like 1 a.m. And this guy, right, when he and his friend had done this choreography, and this is the things that I'd be going through that I can't talk about with anybody. So he's doing this, and every time he's doing all these moves, he's like making these faces at me, and I'm obviously telling myself, as I always do with guys, I'm like, there's no way. That's why 99% of the time a man talks to me, I'm actually surprised about it, because I'm like, and I think just partially the problem is that because I'm not focused on them, I just talk to them in my natural personality, and I'm not overthinking it. And then maybe some of the other girls are, because they're trying to do whatever they're doing. And so we're dancing to this song, and he's done the choreography, and he's making all these eyes at me. There's these little moments where as soon as anybody's not there, he's like whispering things, saying things. Guys, this is the average day at the office. Like, this is something I've been in so many situations. I've been in situations like this where I'm just like, because the moment that you now approach me, whether I'm interested in you or not, which in this case I wasn't, you don't understand that I'm also the same one who wasn't interested. I was, all the women there, was the least interested in you. You've now made a move on me, and all now if I did anything with you or was interested in you, it doesn't matter the scale. I now become the enemy of all the other women. So that's why I wanted to share this story with you guys, because I was just like, this is crazy. So I was listening to it because one of the days we were in one of the studios, which he always used to organize a studio for all of us. And we were all doing one of these freestyle sessions where you could just play a song that you like. And I decided to play Chris Brown's Swallow Me Down. And me being me, I didn't understand what the song was about, okay? I just listened to it before I started doing this. I didn't understand what the song was about, right? And he goes to me, and he said it, and it was the way he said it. So I was like, you know what the song's about, right? And I'm just here listening to Swallow Me Down, you gotta swallow me down, Drake. And I'm thinking, this is such a good beat. This is one of the main reasons why nowadays, if I like a song, I read the lyrics before I like engage, because I've realized I'd be listening to songs and I'd be not knowing what the song's about, because I'm vibing with the beat and the vibe, and not necessarily that I feel the So we're in the studio, and it was the way he said it as well, because he didn't just say it like, do you know? He said it as if like he knows. I didn't know, and it's like, do you know what you're singing right now? And I was just like, oh my gosh, swallow me down. You better swallow me down. Didn't know. did not know, and did not realize, and I never seem to realize how I'm coming across. And that's what I'm basically taking away from this. Also, that like, I don't think guys understand that, like, when you choose whatever woman you want in a situation, you don't know how the women are feeling. Because as far as I'm concerned, the second these guys were like, one of them's crying over him, she kissed him 2 years ago, she's crying, the other one, she's into him, and they bonded over the fact that they like him. I'm cool with both of them. And then now this guy wants to, now as soon as nobody else is there, and he's all talking about, oh, this is what we can do in the studio, let's do this. And I'm just like, you know what? And because even when he initially said whatever he said, it also didn't register, because I'm not going to use the term that he used, but he used a specific term as if to make it very clear his intentions. And I'm thinking, if I thought that this was a possibility, I would have never spoken to you. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm now thinking, and this is the bigger thing for me, is like, does any man actually respect me as a person, or am I just a sexual object? Because I'm also thinking, dude, you've seen me dance in the studio. You've seen how I'm horror. I'm always the one slacking. I, like, at the time, looking back at the videos, I think I was giving about 20% energy I could have. You're carrying everything, and now you want to turn around and be like, wait for everybody to leave, and then you want to switch up. And then you don't realize, because this is what men don't realize a lot of the time, in group situations, you now sometimes approaching a certain woman is like, bro, unless you're getting down on your knee to marry me, I can't even entertain the thought of this, because now I'm the enemy number one. Like, you have to be my person, my best friend, for me to take this risk, or for me to go for it. Because even just at that basic level, and this is something I realized that women don't understand, and why sex is the most powerful thing we have, is like, a guy, for them, sex is just a scale. And for us, we think it is a tool, but it is in different and similar ways. As in, a guy could or would not have sex with a woman based on the fact he does or doesn't want to be with her in any capacity. Whether it's like, oh, I just want to have sex with you because I think you're attractive and I don't care about you tomorrow. Or I actually identify you as the woman who I want to be with, which I don't think that was the situation, by the way. As women, we think, oh, I have sex with a guy, I'm going to now prove myself. Like, I can now, like, he's going to, like, I'm going to get pregnant, or I'm going to, and I'm going to keep him in. And it's like, you don't understand. The moment you open your legs is the moment you've lost your power. The moment they approach you is the moment you're in power. That's what I was thinking about earlier. Like, as soon as a guy approaches me, I'm like, I now know, like, where I'm at now in life, I'm now in power because you want me, and I haven't made it clear. I haven't said anything whether I want you or not. And also, you give me the opportunity to state my requirements, my terms and conditions. However, as a woman, listen, a guy could approach you, and the way he's approaching you and whatever he's saying, it could be because he just wants to have sex with you and tomorrow he doesn't care. And it could be because he's finally met his woman. And that was my thing. And I was just like, I was thinking to myself, you've literally got women in multiple who are like crying over you. You're talking to me who's not interested in you at all. And do we have a lot of things in common? Yes. But at the same time, you're the like strongest link in this, because you're the one with all the most talent. Whether it's choreography, whether it's whatever, he was the one with the most talent. He's showing up to my dance, and he was better than I was in my own choreography. Like, you know what I mean? And I also couldn't believe that he would go out and perform my own choreography and all of that. And then what am I supposed to do now? Because I can't then go talk to the girls and be like, oh, by the way, you know what, so and so said. Because it's like, I'm now the enemy. You literally can't win with these situations. You can't win. You cannot win. You cannot win. And this has happened to me so many times, guys, by the way. So many times where I'm like, I'm just there. I'm just talking to them like they're my friend, like they're my bro. I'm just being myself because I'm assuming they're not interested in me. And there's other girls who are like desperate to be with them. And then they like make a move thinking, yeah. And I'm just like, I will end up forfeiting my entire relationships with a lot of people just for the simple fact of choosing you at this time, in any capacity, even if it's just that we had sex. Because like I said, this girl is like crying. She kissed you once, like years before I knew you, and you're not talking about fuck you back to sleep, girl. Oh my gosh. And this is what I'm talking about. This is why I ran. This is one of the many reasons. Because like obviously I talk about you guys, there's levels to it, you know. But there's certain things that were like there wasn't as anything like objectively unconsensual or wrong with it. Like, he's a man, he has the right to do what he wants to do with his free will, as do we all. And he wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't disrespectful, or he wasn't, you know, forceful or anything like that. Nothing that he did wrong, right? But it's like, in his head, he might be thinking, I would just like to have sex with her maybe once, or I don't know what he was thinking. I don't think he was thinking anything that serious. I also don't know why he made the effort, because I'm also like, dude, you dance like Chris Brown. Like, you are like one of the best, like to this day, I will say he's one of the best dancers I've ever seen in person. And I went to the best studios in London, you know. He is genuinely one of the best dancers I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, you could have any woman, like literally talk to anybody else except for me, because this is it's gonna cost me. And like, I've realized in hindsight, like that's what I'm talking about now, like, this was kind of what I was up against in a lot of situations, because this is not the only situation. There's like a lot of situations where to be honest with you guys, this is a video for the winning team members, and specifically for the men, because I'm trying to help you guys to understand where we're coming from, because sometimes guys will just say like, act like, oh, I wanted this girl and she didn't, like, you don't think about our lives and like the impact. Because let's say you're a guy that a lot of girls actually want and you don't know, because you see, the thing about me is, if I really like a guy, I will shoot my shot. I'll shoot my shot. And I get annoyed when girls don't. When girls are like, oh, I saw this guy and I just saw that and I just looked at him like this. I'm like, shoot your shot. Like, shoot your shot. Like, just go and tell him you're interested in him. Like, or at least go and compliment him or something, you know what I mean? And I get really frustrated when girls don't do that, because then they'll be like, oh, I really liked him. But then I'm not like, I can't lose. Like, in my head, like, the idea that I meet a man, right, at any time, this is why I don't give men the I do have the grace and understanding, but I don't give the justification of not approaching women you like, because the way I look at it is, if I see a guy who I actually like in some type of way, whether it's I've known you for time and I realize, or I notice you and there's something that just inside me that makes me think, I'm going to say something for the simple fact of this and this alone. Not because I'm extra confident, not because I think I deserve you, not because I feel entitled, but simply because, what if I never see you again? Like, what if I never see you again? What if I never get to talk to you and this was my moment and this was my one moment? And that's how I just think. So that's why, even though I do think men should approach women first, and I mainly believe that because you guys are more scary. Like, the other day when this guy, a couple of days ago, it's like a week ago now, approached me and he was talking to me, I remember thinking in the moment that, like, and I did go on a date, by the way, stay tuned for that. He was very gentlemanly, very lovely guy, right? I remember thinking, he was standing about 6 feet away from me. I remember thinking to myself, if you take one step forward, I'm leaving. Like, I'm not going to entertain this, because I'm a woman and you're a man and you're more powerful, like, physically than I am, you know? So I'm not just going to stay here because I'm now, like, I'm going to be to blame. Like, it's going to be something wrong with me. No one's going to care that you did something wrong. And all anyone's going to say is, what were you wearing? What were you doing? How were you talking? What was it? That's why I don't agree with those things, because majority of the situations I have with men, 97% of them is not me trying to do anything. You know what I mean? It's actually me trying to hide away, shy away, or not even considering myself as an option. Hence the example I gave. So I remember when this guy was talking to me, I was like, if you take one step forward, this conversation's over, because I'm going to become uncomfortable because you're a man and you could just do whatever you want to do. And, but at the same time, you also don't realize, because you're a man, you're just thinking about what you want to do, but you're not thinking about the circumstances I'm in. Like, if you're in a group situation, especially, right? And you're like, and like a group of girls doing something or whatever, and then a guy approaches you, oh my gosh, as a woman, it's actually like the worst thing ever. I remember even recently, like very, very recently, me and my mom had both been invited to the same event, so we're like, let's go together. She was like, let's go together. She was the one who actually told me I was invited, and this guy, twice actually in the same day, approached me, and I was thinking, this is the worst. You're making my situation in life worse by approaching me right now. Like, and as you've not done anything wrong as far as you're concerned, and like you're just doing what you want to do, and I'm not blaming you, but the way I would respond if I wasn't in this predicament is very different, because now you're putting me at odds, right? Because even after that time, it was like the second time that day, and my mom was like, oh, this is always what happens to you. There's always somebody trying to talk to you. And I was just like, this is exactly why I walk around this town looking ugly 24/7, because I just don't want to I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to like hemorrhage. And then it's always women like me. I feel like women out there who get it will get it. Like, I'm not trying to be your enemy. Like, I don't even think any guy's interested in me. That's why I'm trying to make myself the most uninteresting. That's why I'm making this video as I'm looking now. When I've just been out, I'm like basically falling asleep. I'm not trying to make these people interested in me. I don't even care. I don't want to get, all I've been thinking about is the fact that I want to get my tubes tied and I never want to be married. That's all I've been thinking about. And well, more than that, I've been thinking about how the reasons for that is because, like, why do I have to be here? And so, yeah, that was one of the most scandalous things ever, because we're there in the studio, everyone's dancing, and he's all doing like, all right, and then on 5, 6, just let me boom, cut, tin, 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 hold on tight, and it's just like, everyone's doing it, and then he's making eyes, he's saying whispers, and I'm just thinking, mate. And then I'm also thinking, as a Christian girly, like when some of us get treated like heathens, it's like you're just not operating at the level of temptation some of us are actually operating at. Like, you're really not. Like, you don't understand what we're going through. Like, you're like you would just like, when I hear these girls talking about, oh well, of course I had sex with this guy, but of course I have to get an abortion because why would I keep a kid with this idiot? Do you think I'm going to have sex with any guy who I think is an idiot? I'm not saying that I wouldn't have sex with any guy at all, because there's many guys who have tempted me in my life, guys. Listen, but it's like at a certain point, and so we're just on different playing fields, and we're just in different worlds. And I was just thinking about this, and I was just thinking, these are the types of things I can't talk about anywhere, because if I tell a woman, they're like, oh, like as if like I'm like, but this is just what happened. Like, I didn't ask for it. I was there. I'm in this studio, so grateful to be learning from a guy that is so good as him. I've grown up in this town before it was becoming a city, which it is right now. Like, literally, so grateful. Like, and so just like, I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to take all the, whatever they say. I know I'm the weakest link. I'm the reason we have to do it again, because I'm not the best in the room, and I'm not focused on guys at all, like literally ever, because I have bigger fish to fry, because I'm just trying to like be like good enough to what I think is good enough for me, so then to face these things, and I'm not going to lie to you, and I will leave it here, and some of these situations I talk about with these Jezebels, in reality, it's like those same guys that these girls are like creating havoc with and making up stories. It's like, well, respectfully, they were trying to talk to me before they were trying to talk to you, and that's the reality. Respectfully, and I'm saying that to you guys because you guys are my people, and I never have said these things before. Which is, I was like, should I just make this video? I was like, should I wait till the morning? And I was like, no, I'll just do it now. Well, it's on my mind, but it's like, respectfully, I was not interested because I was more focused on the mission. But yeah, so that's one of those things that happens that's like, and it's happened in many, if I was to tell you guys, this is why even when guys start to ask me questions about like, oh, what are your experiences in men and all this, a lot of them assume that they're mostly negative because of my opinion. And I'm like, no, because whenever I've ever told men what actually happens, that's when the ego comes in the room, because then they're like, oh, like, because in their head they're thinking, it becomes like a competition. Because if I tell them, oh, there was this guy, he was like the best group, but the best dancer like ever, that one of the best dancers I ever knew or ever I still know. Dancers like Chris Brown, like, is up that level. He was incredible. He was amazing. I was so grateful. Like, they won't take it well. And like the fact that I can tell them he's not my kind, he's not my type. It's like, there's no way. There's no way. Like, that's how a lot of men act. Like, there's no way. And that's why I say we don't understand each other at all. And we don't also understand who we're dealing with. Because a lot of these girls, right, they're caught up in the fairy tale, but they don't really care. Like, because to me, I was more impressed and appreciative of his skills and his ability than I was his looks. So obviously he was handsome, like, you know, he could dance really well, but like, that, listen, God, nothing has to matter for that. And that goes for men and women. There's plenty of beautiful, talented men and women who are horrible people, right? And my thing was like, I'm grateful to be in this situation because this is what I dreamed of. I grew up in this town, like literally being barely able to afford, like, I'm going to dance classes and I'm there for one day of the week. The other girls are all there for like the whole week. I'm going to the gym trying to train. Like, it was my dream literally to go to these studios to dance with these kinds of people. I'm not focused on a guy. I'm not focused on like getting into a relationship. I'm focused on the fact that this is the most incredible experience. I'm the worst of everybody here. And that's not me trying to be like humble. I really was, because they were all, like I said, they all had skin in the game and they were more experienced. So I'm grateful to be there, genuinely. And I'm like, this is where I want to be, and this is where you should want to be as a winner. Like, with like same thing I said to you guys about being in Italy. I'm the newbie. I'm not good at singing yet. I'm not like, I've got a long way to go. You got a long way to go. I love that song. I've got a long way to go. And I'm so grateful to be in the presence of people who like know what they're doing. Like, even when I was in Italy and Rome, you guys know it's one of my favorite places ever. My favorite place in Italy. And I'm there with Paul and Luca. They both are vocal trained. They do vocal training. And I'm getting to like learn from them. They're taking me around Rome. I'm just getting to be a student. It's amazing. Like, that was one of the best things I ever got to do. So being in this group is the same thing. So the guy aspect, and that's why I say to you guys, I think sometimes relationships, they ruin everything, because then it's like, had I now just like, you know, yeah, there's no winning. That's what I'm saying. There's certain situations when it comes to human beings, there's no winning, because I can't help the fact that this guy decided to talk to me. I can't help it. But if I then now go and tell these girls, they're going to be like, but you must like, and it's like, I literally didn't do anything. I literally was embarrassed in his presence. I was so shocked. I was shocked because it was like, he had said a few things over a few number of days or weeks as if to suggest that like, hey, you know, going over my head, not noticing. And it was only one specific thing he said, which I'm not going to quote it, but one specific thing he said, and I was like, and then when it started to get into the studio dynamics where there's these girls like looking over him and like, oh my gosh, I wish, and then him doing all these little side quests as soon as nobody's there, whether it's in my studio when I'm teaching or in his studio when he's teaching, and he's saying all these things, and I'm just thinking. And then here's the kicker: I will then live in a world where it's like, people will judge you like as a person, like, and like as a woman, they'll be like, oh my gosh, you must be sleeping with everyone. It's like, if I was sleeping with everyone, guys, my body count would be at like into the thousands. Like, I was even thinking earlier today about this guy who tried to have sex with me, which again was another ignorant time in my life around the same time. Beautiful Brazilian man, like into the MMA, right? And it was the first time I ever heard about it, and he was gorgeous, right? And at the time, I didn't realize what I know now, that men will just have sex with you. Like, I have another friend even from here. I've known him for years. He's one of the best musicians I've ever heard in my life. But that relationship can't exist because he has a sexual attraction to me. So it's either that I entertain that and that's going to be a thing, or there's no relationship, and it's like, there's no winning. This is what I'm saying. There's nothing you can do. And then if you come against a woman who's in his life, who wants him or whatever, whether that be in a romantic sense, sexual sense, or even if that's just familial sense, you know, a close friend, whatever, that they were just never interested in, because that's how men are. Like I said, they have a scale. They'll have sex with all of us, but they'll only put some of us in certain categories. So that's why I don't see a man being attracted to me as like some big event, because like they could just want to have sex with me. And most of the time that's what's going to be the case. You know what I mean? So, and also that doesn't serve me as a woman, because if I give him what he wants and that's he's done, and then a lot of girls get confused, a lot of women get confused because they're like, well, I did this and I did this. I'm like, yeah, but that's all he wanted from you anyway. And so, you know, go where you feel appreciated. Like I said about this girl who's known him for years before me, and they've been dancing together and whatever. They were close friends. He was friend zoning her. And I'm like, go and spread your wings. Like, he clearly doesn't want to be with you. You clearly feel like he's like the husband of your life. And you're doing that and he's doing... And I can't even say that, because then it's like, the fixation won't be on what I'm saying and that I'm trying to help. The fixation will be, what do you mean he said to you that he wants to do this and this? And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And this has happened to me. This happens to me so often, you guys. Like, so often that I genuinely feel my life is a curse. Like, this is one of the main reasons I feel like my life is a curse. Because, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not trying. I'm not out here getting plastic surgery. I'm not out here, like, overproducing on my video. I'm not trying. I'm not even trying. I'm not even trying at the moment. I don't care to try at the moment, right? And I'd be finding, this is an old situation though. This was years ago. Like, when I was like I said, I was like 19, 20. But still, it's like, I was just thinking about it, and I started to think about it mainly because I was just thinking, like, you know, one of the girls was involved in this. She was one of the best friends I ever had. I never told her about this. What am I supposed to do? Because it's a lose-lose either way. I'm not interested in him. I wish we would have been friends forever, me and her. But this, if I don't tell her, I'm screwed. And these are things that men don't understand, because they'll be like, oh, but it's so simple. It's so simple. And it's like, it's not that simple, because you don't know the dynamics. You don't know what's happening. And a lot of men don't realize that they're way more desired than they would think that they are, you know. From us women, it's just that a lot of women are playing games, and I'm one of those who were like, if I really like a guy, I would shoot my shot. So to me, in my opinion, I'm like, well, if I haven't shot my shot, then I'm not interested. Whereas, you know, it's a bit crazy. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave that there, but I just had to share this with you. I know this is insane, but I had to say something, and I'm sorry that I'm really tired, and I also really need to go to the toilet right now. But, you know, I'm still on my period and stuff, but I was just thinking about it, and just thinking, I just don't know how I'm supposed to win in this life. Like, I just can't win. And I'm not trying. Like I said, I'm not trying. I'm not even trying. But it's like, whatever I do, it's going to end negatively. And yes, don't get me wrong. Actually, I won't even say that in this video. If life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. I will see you in my next one.